Hello everybody and welcome back to Memory Gamma. So today, continuing on with what we've been doing, we're going to be looking at another ship. So we've done the three big-ish factions, the Federation, the Romulans and the Klingons. We're now going to go on to the fourth of the big ones. We're going to have a look at the Dominion. Now the Dominion are a little bit different, as in because they are generally considered to be the bad guys of the series. There isn't a particular hero ship, as it were, but what I'll be doing is I'll be choosing a ship and a character associated with that ship, and we're going to build it out and we're going to see how it goes. So, there are several options. We have Terok Nor itself. They have the battleships from the Jem'Hadar and also the battle cruisers. There is a simulated Galor classes, but that's something a bit different. We might do that during the Borg. There's the Dreadnought missile from Voyager, Dominion ship, and it's a nice powerful ship, but it lacks a certain amount of customization given no crew and no captain or admirals. However, I think we could say that we're going to go with the Dukat's Bird of Prey, what I believe in the original Star Trek TTT trading card game was called the Neprem. So, this is Dukat's Bird of Prey. It's a Klingon Bird of Prey class that Dukat has liberated, stolen, hijacked, whatever you want to call it, it's his now. So, it's got a nice ability. At the start of the combat phase, if it's cloaked, it gets to have a battle station scan or evade token, or it can have +3 captain skill. So, nice, powerful ability, and it's very flexible because you can have the offense ability of a battle stations, defense of a evade, scan does a bit of both. Battle stations can also be used in defense as well. So there's a lot of bits and pieces there. So obviously we're going to look at some cards that work well with this ship, some abilities that work well given its abilities, and also just in general. So let's start with it's Dukat's Bird of Prey. So let's bring Gul Dukat. There are 3 versions of Dukat. The first one is action for a dice with a prime weapon. Then you've got the original, the OG, battle stations or an evade as a free action each round. Then there's the newest one. You can spend an evade and a scan, but you convert 3 battle stations results into 2 hits each. So that upgrades 3 battle stations into 6 potential damage. Now that is really quite nice. It does require you to have both tokens, which means on this ship it would require you action evading and then choosing the bonus scan action and then bonus scan token, and then you would be entirely beholden to that because you would spend the scan token, which means you wouldn't be able to use it for the enemy minus in defense dice. You've spent the evade token, so you haven't got it for later on when you get shot back. And there's no guarantee you're going to roll multiple battle stations. So he works, he's nice, he's very powerful, but you put him on something big that you can load tokens onto and either get multiple attacks or bunches of dice. For this, I think we're going to go the original Gul Dukat. Just gives battle stations or evade as a free action each round, which is nice because you can go free action battle stations and then carry on. Now, keeping with the Dominion only, there is some Dominion talents. Now, some of these, the Dominion are one of the most intrinsic sort of synergistic lists. The Federation have a lot of stuff that helps their friends. Romulans have got a bit, Klingons have got a bit, but the Dominion, pretty much everything that says the word Jem'Hadar on the ship, the ability is to do with helping other Jem'Hadar ships, either itself in proximity to them or vice versa. So, as you can understand, the Dominion elite talents are sort of along these same lines. Victory as life, it helps all friendly Dominion ships at range 1. Concentrated firepower, all friendly ships that attack a particular enemy ship get bonus dice. Coded messages targets a friendly ship. So there's a lot of synergy here. There's a lot of helping your friends out do more. Now, since we're doing this as a single ship all in its own, like a 1v1, lots of fleet support aren't brilliant. All power weapons is always a nice one, but again, it needs a hull 5, which isn't the Dukat's bird of prey. One that's quite nice is the Obsidian Order. So it's a 5-point talent, but every time an opposing ship spends a battle station's evade or scan, you get a copy of that token next to your ship. Now, it can be when they fire at you, they open fire, they spend their battle station's token to convert their dice. Now you get a battle station token next to your ship. Then when you shoot them, they spend an evade token. And you've just got another evade token. So you can load up with tokens quite well. Now, that does mean you could bring the other Dukat and gives you a bit more flexibility. But still, he's a bit more... you only got 4 dice, barring weapon upgrades. So it's a bit more iffy. So Obsidian Order is a good one. Capture Intelligence is also very nice. If you haven't got an evade token, you get an evade token, and you get +1 defense dice for the entire round. So it's nice if you're in a bit of a tight squeeze. First Strike gets you skill rank 10 if you're outnumbered. And then you've got Invaluable Advice, which is just discard for a battle stations token. Since you're on a 3 battle stations each round from Dukat, probably not that. So I think Obsidian Order works quite nicely because it allows us to basically harvest tokens off of enemy ships as they spend them. Now, this is a Klingon bird of prey. So there is certain upgrades in the Klingon list which are Klingon bird of prey special. There is an advanced cloaking system which came with Chang's bird of prey, which is locked to this class of ship only. Pardon me, so I'll bring that up quickly. So the prototype cloaking device here. If you attack while cloaked, disable that to not decloak. And you can also take an Orc's power token to then have fundamentally a free target lock. Now, this is crossing factions, but because it's linked to this class of ship, we're going to go with it. So it's a brilliant upgrade because it allows you to fire without decloaking, and it gives you auxiliary power token option for a target lock. Useful if we put a torpedo or something on here when you have to spend the target lock to fire. Okay, let's go to weaponry. So Dominion weaponry. Now, this is an area where the Dominion fall down slightly. They have some powerful weapons, and there's some nice combinations you can do. But because a lot of the Dominion stuff was brought out a while ago, it's most of it in the older form, which means high points, fixed dice. And on ships where you already have a high base dice, paying extra points for no bonus dice isn't the best. So there's some that I like. I must admit, I'm a fan of the Matter-Antimatter Warhead. It comes from the original Dreadnought pack, but it gives you 7 dice, but it is only at range 3. But it's a 7 dice base attack. Now that is actually an attack that might work really well with the other Dukat, because you get a lot of dice. There's quantum torpedoes that you can put on here. It gives you 5 dice. You get bonus damage if you do anything at all. Lots of things that have shield ignoring, like the phase polaron beams. Energy dissipator, which is a Breen specific weapon. Well, not Breen specific, but it's very expensive on anything apart from the Breen. And we will get to do a Breen energy dissipator list in a little while. There are some cool ideas you can do with that when you start crossing the factions. However, a couple of things. The Dominion got given, in the latest Dominion pack, a weapon upgrade that every ship realistically should be bringing. The Tactical Command Reticule. It's a weapon upgrade that adds a weapon slot that for 2 time tokens you get an extra attack dice. It's an extra attack dice every other round. And it's 2 points and replaces itself, so you can still bring another weapon. So, you have options. You've got Plasma Pulse. Now, Plasma Pulse is a nice upgrade. I must admit, this is a favourite of mine. You discard the card, so it is a one-shot, but when you fire it, they can't spend battle stations or evade tokens. So they can't modify their defense dice with their battle station. They can't spend their evade tokens to cancel it. So it guarantees, it increases the likelihood of punching something through. But also it's got a second use. When you defend, you can discard the card to hand a crit to the enemy. Now, obviously, if the enemy's still got shields, you've just killed the shield. But if they're shieldless, a cloaked ship, like a scimitar or a Deredex or a Cavor, anything like that, or they don't run with shields, Enterprise NX-01, Zindi Weapon 0, that's a really good sort of retaliation strike, because you can go, right, and you're firing at me. Suffer a crit. Now, that is a when defending, so that's a when you become the defender, you discard that card and suffer 1 crit and give the enemy a crit. There is always the possibility of you getting a nice crit. I mean, if you get a stunned helmsman, congratulations, that attack then rolls no attack dice, and that's the end of the attack. But that's said, there's 2 of those in a 33 card deck, so the chance of you getting that exact situation is very slim. But, we're gamers, we're players of the game, and we've rolled odds on worse. For this, I think, Plasma Pulse I can put in. It's a nice middle of the road one. It gives it a rear shot, something out the rear firing arc, which the Bird of Prey has. Useful for if you've gone past them, and doesn't require any action. Doesn't require any actionable stuff to fire it, so you can fire it even if you've been Orcs powered to hell. Crew upgrades. Now, the Dominion. Lots of these are Jem'Hadar, and almost all the Jem'Hadar are Jem'Hadar ship only. So Ikatika, Toman Torax, Virat Kara, Almeti Clan. They're all, this upgrade may only be purchased for a Jem'Hadar ship. So Jem'Hadar attack ship, cruiser, or battleship. No other Dominion ships. Even though you see the Jem'Hadar on Deep Space Nine during the Dominion occupation, the Jem'Hadar were only deployed on Jem'Hadar ships. So, can't put those here. It does limit our ability something. If you're going to be thematic, you have Tora Ziyal, Dukat's daughter. She gives you a range 1 attack cancellation, and it's in the compare results step. So that's after they've done everything, they've spent all their tokens, they've discarded, disabled, or whatever upgrades and abilities they're using, and then you go, actually no, I don't want to do that. Cancel the attack. And you get to make a retaliation attack at -1 dice. Now, because the enemy is at range 1, because you have to be to trigger her, that -1 dice is countered by the fact that you have the range bonus. So, she's a nice upgrade. And, it's very limited with the range 1, but you'll be jinking in and out and everything. So, attack cancellation's never a bad thing. Now, completely off-piece, you could bring her boyfriend and her father's most hated enemy, Elim Garrick. Garrick is a very good at crew upgrade. You can disable him for an evade result. But also, he brings a elite talent, which very few crew members do. He is one of, I believe, 4 crew members in the game which have an elite talent slot built into them. There is Elim Garrick, there is William Riker from when he was assigned to the PA, and then there is the Kelvin-verse versions of Kirk and Spock, because they have both a crew and a captain side, and both of them bring elite talents. Now, he's quite nice. He also doesn't pay a faction penalty for his elite upgrade, so you can cross-faction his elite upgrade with no penalty. It's nice, he can sneak in something a bit more expensive or something a bit more niche from another faction, but if you ever disable or discard Garrick, you lose his elite talent for the rest of the game. So it needs to be something that you're going to use pretty much immediately, or can guarantee using before you have to use his ability, because he disables himself to give you that evade. Now, Ramata Clan. Ramata Clan is a Jem'Hadar that can go on any ship. Now, he's also quite nice. If you can be targeted by at least 2 enemy ships, you can discard him for +2 captain skill and +2 attack dice for all attacks. Now, that works if you've managed to link it in with, say, a Klingon upgrade like the Torpedo Fusillade. It's a Klingon ship, so it's no faction penalty, and you're firing at everything in your forward firing arc this round. Ramata Clan adds +2 dice to every single one of those attacks. That's quite a potent combo, and that's quite nice for this being a little ambush predator for taking out swords of little ships. Not sure how often you see hordes of little ships, but it might happen. Seskal, if your ship's shields are destroyed, you get bonus 2 dice. Middling, again, he's quite expensive, but he is a disable. He's not an action, and it's just, all my shields have been destroyed. Okay, I'll have 2 extra dice, because I might as well. Lasaran, you can discard him for 2 defense dice. These are the Cardassian crew members. Glindaro repairs a hull damage or shield damage. He's usually quite a nice one to have, especially for a cloaking ship. I mean, he's Dominion, but obviously like the Klingon bird of prey or anything which is struggling to keep going. You can keep it going with this. A Matagun gives you bonus defense dice, keeps the ship alive a bit longer, and also he becomes the you must kill him first. Now, there's 2 upgrades, crew upgrades, which are brilliant in all situations. Duranadar, just here, so he's a crew upgrade that adds a tech. Very nice. And you can time token him when you reveal a red maneuver to stop all Orcs power tokens for the whole game round. So, you do that after the red maneuver, you don't suffer an Orcs power token for the red maneuver. You could then use the prototype cloaking device and not take the Orcs power token beside your ship to reroll your attack dice. If you have, and if something gives you an Orcs power token, say a interrogation or a supreme tribunal or a Ferengi floating torpedo, nope, you ignore it. That's really nice. The other one is just a little bit further down. Bohica, which is, if you've got a battle stations token, you get to blank to hit conversion. Thanks to Dukat. So, there's ways you can go about it. In this situation, I wouldn't worry about Bohica because you're going to be able to get some of those rerolls from the prototype cloaking device. I'd be tempted to go with Duranadar. It gives you some more flexibility. You've got 3 red maneuvers, so you do your red hard turns or your 3 come abouts. So you can run, spin, be facing the way you just come with the enemy now in front of you, and you've still got your action thanks to Duranadar. He also gives you a tech upgrade, another tech upgrade slot. Now, some things you can do here. There is, so you're looking for the 4-pointer ones now because we were keeping close to our 50-point limit. You've got cloaking devices, that's for Keldons. EM pulses, it's a nice upgrade, it's an action, it knocks off an attack and defense dice off of an enemy ship. Kinetic detonator, it kills it and a weapon upgrade to do 1 damage to everything, including this ship. It's a bit like a self-destruct sequence. Cloning facility is very good. Now, cloning facility is an interesting one in this situation because it copies a friendly Dominion upgrade on crew upgrade on either this ship or a friendly ship. So you could use it to copy Duranadar, and then you can use him 2 turns in a row. Or you could use it to copy Tora Zial, giving you a second Lucifer, because you cloning facility copy Tora, and then when you get attacked, you discard the cloning facility as a Tora Zial to cancel the attack, and you still have the original. And same with Duranadar. That could be nice. I must admit, I am a fan of this one, the final stage targeting. It's not everyone's cup of tea. It does mean you are locked into the end. You must have a target lock on someone to fire at them. It's from the Dreadnought it's from the newer Dreadnought pack. So you must have a target lock to fire at someone, which means you are restricted, and it means that you'd have to go action target lock, your free action battle station, and then do all of that. However, they skip their modified defense dice step, which means they can't spend battle stations tokens, they can't reroll defense dice, they can't do any of that. It's a nice upgrade for getting rid of some of that defensive quality. Some races have got a lot of defensive quality. The Romulans get quite a lot these days, things like the Belak and things that give bonus dice or rerolls. Even just someone who's gone, well, I've got 3 defense dice and here's this. It would even, since they skip the modified defense dice step, in the enhanced hull plating, modified defense dice, you can take Orcs power tokens to add evade results. If you skip the defense dice step, you can't do that. So that's a nice one to have. So I would put that in here, and I would then take this as a, okay, this is a big powerful ship. So you do your movement, you target lock as your actual action, You battle stations as Gul Dukat. Then you start the combat phase. You could take an evade or a scan. You may have picked up a couple of other tokens from other places by the time you open fire. If you've done your combat maneuver, you've used your Ranadar to stop taking Orcs power tokens. You fire your 5 dice. Thanks to Tactical Command Reticle. You get to reroll any number of them because of your prototype cloaking device. You can keep your target lock for later, or if you don't want to do the prototype cloaking device and you don't mind decloaking, you can spend your target lock, get your rerolls. You can modify and you can convert your dice, and then the enemy can't modify their dice. So whatever you've rolled and whatever they roll is what they keep. Compare result step onwards, that's fine. So if they've got stuff that says, cancel the attack in the compare result step, they can still do that. But they have to skip all the modifying their dice. So that is my sort of idea for a Dukat's Bird of Prey. It's a nimble, fast-moving ship. It does, as I said, cross-faction, but it does keep in line with the faction of the ship because it's dual faction. So, thank you very much for joining me. As I said, if you have any ideas for a ship, feel free, drop it in the comments. I'll get to them, I'll have a read, and I will try and reply to everything. Said I'm going to be going through and doing another ship from each of the 4 big factions over the next week or so. So Federation, Romulans, Klingons, and Dominion. And then I'll be looking at some of the smaller ships. I might look at one of them as like a faction as a whole, take some of the independents especially, and sort of take them out and go, here is all of this stuff, here is this stuff. But we'll see how we go. All right, so thank you very much for joining me, and goodbye.